Hello and welcome back to the Movie Memo Recaps. Today we are going to recap a 2008 movie titled Street Kings. Please be advised that there will be spoilers ahead. In the opening scene, we are introduced to Tom Ludlow, a special detective. While he is competent, he does not always follow the rules, making him a tough character. His fearlessness makes him a popular choice for undercover operations. One day, they tasked him with apprehending two South Korean gangsters involved in the illegal arms trade. Tom poses as an arms dealer and sends them a different collection of weaponry than they had ordered. This enrages them, and things worsen when Tom makes a disparaging remark about their eyes, leading them to believe he is racist. Infuriated, the gangsters attack him. In an unexpected turn of events, Tom intentionally permits the pounding. He plans to respond later, claiming self-defense and justifying any violent action he takes. When Tom believes he has gathered enough evidence of them attacking him, he goes to the gangsters' hideaway, where he confronts and kills them all in a brutal battle. Following the confrontation, he relaxes with a drink before manipulating the crime scene to resemble a major gunfight. Tom discovers two South Korean women imprisoned by the gangsters while investigating the premises. When he realizes they are in the country without legal documents, he releases them with compassion. Captain Jack, Tom's strict superior, arrives soon after. Tensions rise as Tom's colleagues condemn his risky tactics. When a confrontation appears, Captain Jack intervenes. He compliments Tom, to everyone's amazement. However, when he approaches Tom, he senses the scent of alcohol on him and urgently instructs him to seek medical assistance before legal authorities come, emphasizing the potential damage to his reputation if found intoxicated. While Tom waits, his old, close friend Washington approaches. Tom's aggressive behavior harmed their relationship. Washington criticizes Tom's decision to kill the criminals, believing a court trial would have been more appropriate. The following day, Tom went to the hospital, hoping to avoid the media's probing eyes. While undergoing treatment, Captain James, a member of the provost's squad in charge of potentially corrupt officers, contacted him. James handed Tom his business card and indicated his desire for collaboration while also sharing concerns about individuals in Tom's area, particularly Jack. After James left, Grace, a nurse who was caring for Tom, revealed herself to be his lover. Taking advantage of the private period, the two formed an intimate bond in the hospital room. Following Tom's discharge, the professor's team questioned him about his aggressive tactics. However, Tom was able to provide an adequate justification for his actions. The next day, Tom went to a party to celebrate Jack's recent promotion. Among the merriment, Tom discreetly told Jack and other attendees about James's vigilant gaze, suspecting internal leaks. Jack, prepared to assign blame, accused Washington of betraying the department, asserting that a resentful Washington, who had previously faced dismissal from their unit, yearned for revenge. Tom's desire to confront Washington consumed him, and his peers had to restrain him. Days later, Tom decided to follow Washington, contemplating intimidation. However, an unexpected event at a convenience shop thwarted his objectives. Two armed burglars forced Tom to reevaluate his plans. Tom chose to defend Washington despite their troubled relationship. Initially, Washington mistook Tom's approach as aggressive, resulting in a brief skirmish. The burglars' wild firing interrupted their argument, and Tom, attempting to respond, accidentally shot Washington in the shoulder. The confrontation ended tragically, with the robbers killing Washington. To Tom's dismay, the store's video cameras captured his argument with Washington, turning the footage into incriminating evidence. Recognizing the danger, Jack, ever faithful, persuaded Tom to secure the recording before James or any legal entity could obtain it. Tom quickly acted on Jack's advice and recovered the tape just in time. Following the incident, Jack determined it was wise to move Tom to a department responsible for managing public complaints. Every day, Tom received a flood of complaints, ranging from the mundane to the ludicrous. One day, James approached Tom to discuss the unusual circumstances surrounding Washington's death. He referred to Tom's report, which noted the presence of only two burglars at the convenience shop. However, the forensic team detected three distinct types of bullets in Washington's body, with one confirmed to originate from Tom's handgun. James was eager to see the security footage that was captured, suspecting Tom and his colleagues of involvement in the unfortunate event. Concerned about the growing situation, Tom told Jack about James' suspicions. In response, an enraged Jack met James in his office, furious at the allegations against his crew. There, James expressed his suspicion of Jack and even alluded to Jack's manipulative career progression techniques, specifically manipulating his crew, including Tom, to ascend to the post of chief commander. Washington's funeral ceremony was held following his post-mortem examination. Tom and his teammates came to pay their respects. During the ceremony, Tom noticed Washington's heartbroken wife, Linda, approaching her out of concern. Linda's obvious unwillingness to engage in conversation surprised Tom. After the funeral, Tom met Detective Paul, who was now in charge of Washington's investigation. Paul was upset when he unexpectedly revealed that Jack had forced him to conceal details linking Tom to the convenience store incident. Regardless, Tom expressed his desire to aid in the investigation, which Paul swiftly declined. Tom learned from Paul about two prospective suspects, Fremont and Coates, and informed his team, advocating their arrest. However, the majority, especially Richard, Jack's right-hand man, expressed reservations. Given the gravity of the situation, Tom decided to pay Jack a personal visit to discuss Fremont and Coates. At Jack's house, Tom expressed his unwavering determination to catch those responsible for Washington's death, emphasizing the strength of his bond with Washington. However, Jack nixed the idea for fear of James discovering their acts. The next day, Paul contacted Tom for a confidential conversation. Surprisingly, he leveled claims against Washington, tying him to illegal activities such as drug operations. Additionally, he established links between Washington and the accused individuals, Fremont and Coates. Their cooperation appears to have gone poorly, resulting in Washington's early demise. Paul also admitted that James had previously intimidated him with threats to expose Tom's wrongdoing. Recognizing the importance of the issue, Tom chose to work with Paul. As nighttime neared, Tom and Paul joined forces to begin their investigation by identifying Fremont and Coates' most recent whereabouts. While investigating, Tom and Paul encountered Quicks, a member of a Mexican gang. Quicks took off unexpectedly, which immediately raised suspicions. They pursued him, and Tom apprehended him, entangling him in some barbed wire. Using this advantage, Tom prodded Quicks for information. Quicks eventually revealed a man named Grill was affiliated with Fremont and Coates. Tom and Paul arrived at Grill's home without delay. When Tom arrived, he pointed his handgun at Grill, making him feel extremely intimidated. The sight of Tom's violent actions alarmed Paul. Tom used his menacing demeanor to force Grill to disclose Fremont and Coates' whereabouts. After gathering the necessary information, Tom decided to imprison Grill briefly. The following day, Tom reached out to Linda once more, reassuring her that he will apprehend those responsible for Washington's death. He also inquired about some money associated with Washington, which the authorities suspected might have been obtained illegally. Linda revealed that the funds originated from the sale of their property and voiced her worry that the police department had used Washington as a distraction from corrupt practices. Interestingly, she also mentioned Washington's tight relationship with James. Richard approached Tom back at work and provided evidence pertinent to Washington's case. Washington's body yielded a bullet that matched Tom's gun. However, Richard informed Tom that he was no longer under suspicion. Tom then received a call from Grill, who introduced him to a new gangster, Winston, who was familiar with Fremont and Coates' location. Tom planned a meeting with Winston because they were eager to go forward. Winston gave them the address where Fremont and Coates were allegedly hiding. Unfortunately, when they arrived, they couldn't find Fremont or Coates. Instead, they discovered numerous bloodstains and a weird, unpleasant odor. To their surprise, they discovered Fremont and Coates already dead and buried in the property's yard. This discovery forced Tom to rethink the story. He conjectured that the real murderer of Washington was still on the loose and might have killed Fremont and Coates to conceal their identity. Tom was determined to solve this enigma and decided to enlist Winston's help once more. Later that night, Paul contacted Tom, advising him that Winston had identified two thugs who could be involved in Washington's murder. Before exploring this lead, Tom felt compelled to see Linda and apologize for his previous behavior. He gave her the CCTV footage from the mini-market to clarify what had happened. Tom promised Linda that he was determined to bring those guilty for Washington's death to justice. He then told Linda about the death of his own wife, offering sympathy for her pain. Following this emotional interaction, Tom prepared to confront the thugs identified by Winston. While Tom wanted to meet them alone, Paul's perseverance persuaded him to accept his company. Just as they were leaving, James interfered, disclosing his intention to arrest Tom that night. Nonetheless, James recognized the significance of Tom's strong techniques in apprehending the gangsters and eventually allowed him to proceed. In an unexpected turn of events, Tom approached the men Winston had directed them to, either Ebro or Jude, and feigned to be interested in a drug sale. Conversely, Jude demonstrated resilience and discerned Tom's true intentions to exact revenge on Washington. Ebro and Jude, to Tom and Paul's surprise, turned out to be corrupt police officers. The ensuing conflict culminated in Winston's death and a serious bullet wound to Paul's neck. Despite successfully neutralizing the dishonest officers, Tom was unable to save Paul from his injuries. Tom sought out to Grace because he was in pain and needed medical attention. While at Grace's house watching the news about recent occurrences, he began to suspect a setup. He told Grace to keep her distance out of fear for her own safety. Tom's pals Santos and Dom barged into Grace's home and detained him before pulling him into a vehicle. As they drove, a stunning revelation occurred. Captain Jack was the brains behind Washington's murder. Jack's involvement included running a narcotics ring alongside Ebro and Jude. However, Tom's investigation into Washington's death undermined Jack's efforts, prompting him to hatch a plot against Tom. Tom was able to liberate himself from his restraints by using a concealed medal. In a desperate attempt, he unexpectedly surprised Dom, the driver, causing the vehicle to collide with another vehicle. Unfortunately, Tom lost consciousness. Upon awakening, he discovered himself in the precise location of Fremont and Coates' graves. Bound and in danger, he mustered the courage to smash Dom over the head with a shovel and neutralize Santos with a well-placed gunshot. Later, Richard was inflicting pain on Linda in response to Jack's request to retrieve the CCTV footage Tom handed her. Tom arrived at Linda's house just in time to restrain Richard and put him in the trunk of a car. The next day, Tom and Jack had a heated argument at Jack's house. Tom, feeling betrayed, wanted to know why Jack had set him up, especially because he'd always seen Jack as confident, if not familial. The heated exchange ended with Jack suggesting they work together to bury the current cases. Tom, having been faked too many times, lashed out. During the confusion, Tom managed to detain Jack and draw a gun on him, ready to give the fatal blow. But Jack had one final insight. He had amassed a wealth of money, drugs, and damaging information about numerous officials, all of which he kept within the confines of his home. He proposed a new beginning for them both, offering Tom a share. However, Tom, committed to purity and redemption, made a grave decision and ended Jack's life. In the aftermath, Tom reached out to James, asking him to gather evidence of Jack's crimes. James, it appears, had purposefully permitted Tom to deal with his unscrupulous colleagues, saving him from having to take aggressive action against his own. As a sign of appreciation, James decided not to arrest Tom. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.